Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. Welcome to IIUM Brilliance, where we explore secrets to unlock potentials. It's our 7th episode, and we've been high in spirit to explore more insights from our very own IIUM high achievers. Our very goal with this show is basically to dive into the mindsets, insights, and endeavors of IIUM's on high achievers in the fields of academic, intellectual, and education fields. But most importantly, we try to invite over people who have significantly contributed to the development of our society through their works. Ladies and gentlemen, this week we have a senior professor specialized in food chemistry and biochemistry. Previously, he was the deputy dean at International Institute of Halal Research and Training, and he has developed a new discipline in this very field he is specialized in, developing a new science called halal science, which has brought him an award, a very high award called the King Faisal International Prize in Service to Islam. Please join me in welcoming Professor Irwandi Jaswir at IIUM Brilliance. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
We
Thank
are
you.
very touched as a team
Yeah.
that you make the time to come here. Even you mentioned about being called by Bernama to share at their show, but you came here because we think it's very important that not only we know and recognize
Yeah.
your achievement, but to also know your advice for all IIUM community.
Yes.
And when our team shared about your achievements and when we try to make the content, it's one of the hardest times because we don't know where to start. It's a 28 pages CV, just to tell you guys. So we also learned that the previous recipients of the award include our very honored Dr. Mahathir, as well as Erdogan and Abu Ala al-Maududi.
Yeah.
We know that it's not a walk in a park. But before we go deeper into that, can you walk us through the very work that bring this award to you?
Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, sister, and thank you IUM TV for inviting me to this
Our pleasure.
IUM Brilliance.
Yes.
It's my great honor to be here to share whatever I think something that we may share,
Yes.
especially for young generation, my students here. Alhamdulillah, when you mentioned just now King Faisal International Prize, even myself also got upset when I was sent email by them that where they mentioned that I was the winner.
Mm-hmm.
It was last year. Because I think as you see also from the previous winners of the award is great leaders, and then political leaders, state leaders, or great Muslim scholars, Al-Maududi, etc. IIM is not in not that level to them. Yeah,
Oh,
but
really?
I also don't know. I do not know who nominated me, number one. Number two is I didn't know the reason why they choose me until they mentioned during the award ceremony.
Oh.
Okay. So in 2018, March last year, I was invited to Riyadh to receive the award. Then during the ceremony, I think is a great event,
Yes.
attended by King Salman himself and all the top official of Kingdom Saudi Arabia. It is mentioned that the reason why they chose me is because of my contribution in the last 20 years to develop a new field, a new branch of knowledge called halal science.
Yes.
To me, what I did is a normal thing as a scientist. This is the field that I choose for my career, and then I do it persistently, and then I do research, I supervise my postgraduate student, and then I publish and I do community survey. because this is my field. I do not know that people will see what you have done and then give you such recognition. So this is, to me, this is mashallah, this is something great beyond my expectation, beyond my imagination. It got me surprised. It's really surprised, but in the end, this is Allah give me this. So mashallah, this is something that when people recognize you, you don't have no words for you to say. And things. This to me is really I'm speechless. When I receive, I couldn't say anything more from what I prepared. This is beyond my expectation. So this is something, because I'm the first scientist to be awarded in this category. Yeah, before that, you know, on the state leaders or great Muslim scholars.
Yeah. Sure. So you didn't know about being nominated in the first place?
In the first place, no. Someone nominated me, and then only in the final stage of judging, they confirm my CV, etc. But still, I do not know whether the chances, for example, and how many in the shortlisted, etc. No. When they asked me for the final CV, updated CV, and all the achievement, I submitted.
So it is based on your contributions in the past 20 years, you said?
Yes, and yes. When I still in the award ceremony, they mentioned that in the last 20 years, I have conducted more than 35. I have completed more than 35 research projects, mostly in food science and halal food management. Second one, I published almost 200 publication in journal, international journal, recognized and then reputable international journals. I have 5 patents, and 3 of them commercialized in the halal science field. And then I delivered more than 250 invited talk, as an invited speaker in international conferences. And then I supervised a lot of masters and PhD students. And then I did trainings for halal industry, not only in Muslim countries but also in non-Muslim countries. So for them, this is kind of da'wah.
Yes.
Because this is the first time they said we are looking at the halal from the perspective of science, not from the perspective of Islam. I mean Islamic studies.
Yes. And I've been here at IIUM about like 2 years, but also I want to know, and I want you to share with us, like perhaps you mentioned about your patents, like what is one example of the patents so that people know more about what INHAT actually has been doing? So one specific example of the findings?
One of the findings is I discover, and what do you call this, fucoxanthin. Fucoxanthin is one of the carotenoids that has anti-cancer properties, anti-obesity properties. This is it's very complete set of health promoting agents in our natural products. So we developed that. Second one, we develop a rapid method for detection of non-halal components in food or other products. So, and then another patent is we develop also a device to detect lard lard is fat from pig in our food or non-food products. So this is the patent that I have.
That's very exciting, because when you mentioned you didn't know about being nominated, but it's the fact that the Muslim world has been acknowledging and appreciating scientific discoveries by Muslims, which is the edge that we are heading towards. So we want to know more about what drives you personally, and please stay tuned with IIUM Brilliance. Welcome back to IIUM Brilliance, so we explore secrets to unlock potentials. This week we have our guest, Professor Irwandi Jaswir, laureate of King Faisal International Prize Service to Islam, and we want to ask more about your personal drives. So I just Googled about the rewards these laureates would get, and you mentioned about you contributed to the Tafiz. I'm sorry that I mentioned it, but I think it's a very important detail to share with all of us, because the fact that you didn't even know you're being nominated, meaning your motivation to contribute to this field is beyond being recognized. So can you share with us perhaps like 3 factors which drive you to become such a great scientist, as well as the contributions in academic world?
Okay. If you ask me to mention 3 factors, yeah, actually to achieve something, a lot of factors, yeah.
Yeah.
But I would place number 1 is your interest and passion must be there. You have to do something that you love very much. You cannot do something that you don't like it to do, or if you still do it, you will not get any achievement. This is so. Please do something that you like very much. Your passion is there, your love is there, your interest is there, so that we will get more than what we expect. This is my experience. To do research is my passion. I like to do research, and then I like to share my finding with others through writing a journal, etc. In laboratory based work, seriousness is very important. If you don't like if you don't like their job, and then very hard for you to get the results. Especially in I work on molecular and those things, anti-cancer properties. Sometimes you get the result, sometimes the cells gone, etc. So this is very important. Number 1. Number 2 is hard work. Yeah, you cannot just take it lightly in doing things. Everything must be serious. Everything must be set in a target. So you must have a target in life. What I have done, this is just for to share with you and the audience.
Yeah.
For example, in my life when I was young, now already, I set a target that I need to get, I have to get my PhD before I'm 30 years old. Then I tried to achieve it. Now, alhamdulillah, I made it. Second one, then when I started my career journey in this university in IIUM in 2001, I set a target. I have to get a full professorship before I am 40 years old. Then I will work hard for that. So work hard, and the target is very, very, this is connected to each other. And then you have to do this, and you have to have this. Yeah. It's very, very impossible for you to achieve something without any target in your life. Target will drive you to the direction that you want to achieve. Yeah. The third one, probably this is the most, I think, also most important thing to me, is that the dua, the power of dua, the power of prayers. I did my PhD partly in Canada. I did my postdoctoral fellowship in Japan, and then I got, it's kind of turbulence in life here. You will have ups and downs in doing research. In Japan, for example, they're very, very strict. And then when you work on molecular cell, and then in laboratory, and then sometimes you had to come to the lab until 2 a.m., 3 a.m. in the morning, or Saturday or Sunday if you had to come to check your cells. It's very, very tough for me. So, but dua is the key for me to stay. It is not possible to go through all these things if you don't have Allah. Yeah, if you do not tell him that what the problem you are facing. So this is the three thing I think the three important things that lead me to this what I have achieved so far.
When you mentioned about dua, and
Yeah.
as well as you mentioned about telling Allah what
Yeah,
you're experiencing, do you have any specific dua that you recommend? Because last time I met the previous president of SRC, and he said that he would pray every day, God make me the most beneficial
Yeah.
man on earth. He said like that.
Okay, I'm not a religious person. Yeah, my background also is not. I mean, I'm not in from IRK, but I try to do the best that I can do. But I have no specific dua, but I try to make it consistent. I try not to forget to prayers, qiyamul lail, and then duha prayers. So duha prayer, even though I have a meeting, I try to make it. So my routine normally, I go to my office and then I do pray duha first. And so because I believe Rasulullah said that even your ibadah is small,
Yes.
but if you do it consistently in istiqamah, then you'll be is a big here in the eyes or in the sight of Allah Subhanahu wa Taala.
Yes, sure. And you also mentioned about your interest.
Yeah.
When did you basically started having such a deep interest in scientific work?
Yeah, I did my first degree in food science and technology, and then I got offer from industry, and then during my industrial trainings, and then I feel that I'm not in that uh, into that kind of job, working in the industry as a I don't know as a management trainee at the time. I feel that I'm more towards doing in the laboratory, doing research and things, and then I think that's the first thing I realized that I my interest is there. Second thing is that the more you do research, and then you will get a more interesting things, discoveries, and then for example, when you see the cancer cell and then how fast it develop in the petri dish, you see under microscope, and then you do it in 2 days, and then, for example, I did on the liver carcinoma cells, and then the human breast cancer, etc. And we did very very fast, and then the more you do research, and then you know in Malay called takjub, in Arab probably, so we feel mashallah, that normal people may not see that. So I will more and more I mean my interest will be more and more toward that field that I'm experiencing. So I like that kind of job until now, and then even though probably I'm not going to the lab more often, but I have a students, and then we discuss, sometimes we go to the lab, etc. So this is and then I realized that this is my passion.
Like we can tell since you came to the studio, and when we started to talk about Inhad, like your face lit up. And those are the three things which I personally would have to reflect upon myself, like having interest and our passion, as well as we have to work very hard and set high targets, very specific targets, which are measurable and achievable, as well as the power of prayers, because that is what makes us like IIM students or IIM community. Like we never separate the role of our faith. So please stay tuned for more sharings by our Professor Irwandi. Welcome back to IIUM Brilliance, where we explore secrets to unlock potentials. My team and our team here at IIUM Brilliance and IIUM TV as a whole, we've been very humbled and inspired to have Professor Irwandi over, because we know it's the last weeks of the semester and it's a good reminder that we have a long way. It's not just this semester, but in the future, like what are our targets? And last time we had a discussion with the National Laureate of the Malaysian National Laureate, and one of the things that he mentioned is the necessity to have a mentor. So when we mention the word mentor or mentorship, what comes in your mind, and how does it play a role in your academic journey?
To me, is in nowadays it is a must. I think mentorship. I think I read one article in newspaper saying that even in America, according to the Association of Professional Development, something, they mentioned that the executive in America agreed that 75% executive in America agreed that a mentorship is very, very critical to their career development. So it is important, because if you get a great mentor, and then they will share with you their own experience, the knowledge, the motivations, and then to your future career, I think something very great investment to you. I agreed with that, and then we should develop this in various ways during your study time, or your later on your final year project, for example, or when you do masters or PhD. To find the right mentor is very, very important. When you ask me my experience, I feel that the two great mentors to me is of course my professor during my undergraduate and postgraduate times. I would say that number one is when I did my undergraduate in Indonesia, my Professor Winarno, he himself is non-Muslim, but he motivated me a lot. And he asked me one day, what are you going to do? And then because he's very famous in our country, and then he said, oh, sir, I want to do postgraduate program. I want to further study. And then he gave me, tell me, oh, you should do this, you should do that. Try to apply that scholarship, blah, blah, blah. Even though he offered me to get a job in industry easily at the time, once you graduate, you get a job in food industry. Second one is my professor from UPM, when I did my master's and PhD with him, led Professor Yaakob Chapman. He's very, 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 to me, he's more than just a professor. He's my father, my mentor, my advisor, etc. I can talk anything to him. And then he is the one who introduced halal science to me. We worked together in the first place when there was an issue on non-halal contamination. At the time, I did my PhD on palm oil. We developed many rapid methods for detection of, for evaluation of palm oil quality. And then suddenly there is an issue on the contamination of lard or pig. In various products. And then Professor Yaakob asked me, why don't you apply our methodologies in palm oil, because it's same as fats and oil, to detect a non-halal dish. And that one the starting point. And then from that we developed a lot of things here. So I really indebtful here to my late Professor Yaakob. He's the one who not only teach me doing things in the laboratory, but also how to publish, how to motivate you to publish, and what your role as the academics, what's your role as a scientist, So he's the one. I think he is very, very prominent scientist in Malaysia, and then I feel very in the full to him, and then he just more than a professor. So my suggestion is for you and to do masters or PhD to select the best, I mean the right mentors is very important. It will influence your career later on.
Yes.
Yeah.
I am very curious that you mentioned about these two professors which have profound impacts in your life.
Yeah.
In your, perhaps since before you join your undergraduate studies, are there anyone who taught you about discipline? Or, I mean, you're very deep interest in science, and is there anyone outside the academic world who have inspired you? Or it's just...
of course, I like to do science is when in the high school, you know. I'm not coming from the I mean, my parents not academicians. They're just ordinary people. My father is a small businessman. My mother is a housewife. But since I like to do science, and then I learn from people, even though I have no direct communication with them. For example, in Indonesia at the time during my young age, Professor Habibi, he was very famous. He's our former Ministry of Research, and he's one of the genius people in Muslim world. And then I at that time, every child wanted to become like Habibi. This is a role model.
Is the same as Rudy Habibi? No.
Yes,
no,
yeah.
Is he the same?
The
okay,
same
okay,
people.
okay.
He's the one. And then in 2013, I got the award from him, Habibi Award, in medical and biotechnology category, because of my contribution in conducting research related to anti-cancer properties, etc. But unfortunately, I could not manage to meet him during the award because he was not there. He was in Germany, and then his son gave away the award to me. So I feel proud because I have the award under his name in my cabinet. Yeah. So
because I watched the movie.
Yeah.
And I know it's a true story.
It's a story. There are two movies. Yeah. The first and second. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
And when you mentioned it, I think it's very inspiring that one person, one person. You said every child during that time wanted to be like him.
Like him. Yeah. Because he developed. He's aerospace engineer.
Yes.
And then trained in Germany, and then he developed aircraft industry in Indonesia. So we are so proud of him, and then our children, you know, imagination is like Habibi. Habibi is very
That's a thing with this show as well, because I've seen, like you said, my family background, like no one is an academician yet.
Yeah.
But it's very important for us to see people like you.
Yeah.
So because there's this saying that goes, it's hard to become something that you cannot see.
Yeah.
Like you say, but right?
Yeah.
Like setting targets. So we will come back very soon, and I'm excited to wait for you guys to join us again at IIUM Brilliance. Welcome back to IIM Brilliance. We have our final questions, which I'm very excited about. Every show it's just so fast, but there are a lot we want to learn from our guests. So, Professor Irwandi, I am very inspired when you shared with us about your journey in Japan. Only just 2 years, but you said how they've trained you to become such a disciplined person, especially such a discipline is necessary to succeed in the field. And can you share with us how would your routine look like? It could be back then, because these are the moments which shape you to become who you are today.
I'm a normal person, yeah. I don't have a special routine that I have to do, and I just ordinary one. This I do as what other people also do. I send my kids to schools. I in the weekend we go somewhere together. I play tennis with my IUM team. I read the books. I sometimes I wrote puisi or poems, etc. And then I like. I'm a journalist as well. I'm a sport writer. Sometimes I write a sport article. So this is my routine. But of course, in the office, I have to be supervisor to my students. I have currently more than 10 PhD students, master students, about 10 to 15. And then I have 3 projects ongoing, mostly project related to gelatins. You know gelatin?
Yeah.
It is one of the food ingredients. Not only food ingredients, it's also ingredient for pharmaceutical, cosmetics, etc. I'm a consultant in various company or organization, including in the government of Saudi as a consultant for the halal industry there. So every sometime I need to go to Saudi, and then and the rest is I write article, journal article, write the books. So this is my routine. To me, life is must be. You cannot stick to one activity only. Okay. No, to me, no. I watch movie with my children, with my kids. I play sport with them. You have to. I mean, your life must be colorful. Yeah, various things need to be done. So I do everything. Yeah, this is my life. Yeah. So if you think that I'm full time in the lab, it's wrong. Yeah, it's wrong. So I go to the lab, but at the same time, I go other than academic things. Because especially when I was in Japan, the lab work is very very hectic to me. Yeah, but you need to have something else. So I play sports.
Yeah, that's something you mentioned. You mentioned about having these many colors.
Yeah.
But for me personally, maybe it's a cultural shock for me when I've been focusing on my studies. Then when I join things like this, I've been carried away by how much fun it is to do this.
Yeah.
So, when we like one thing, sometimes it prevails the other.
Yeah.
How do you balance, or is there such thing about balance?
Yeah, but
for you?
again, in the first place, you need to have a target. This is what I mentioned just now. But you are here to me. I'm here as academic, so I have a set of target for my academic career here. So every year, this is that I need to achieve. But apart from that, I have to do something else. Otherwise, I cannot achieve this target. Because if you do not away for some time from what your routine work, you will not get the high. You may pass it, but not in a good achievement. Yeah. So this is my philosophy. I do things. You can ask my friends in the IUM, and then you know how I am. And we do get together, etc. Yeah?
For example, you said you have a high target here in academy.
Yeah.
What are the other things that balance these targets? When you mention being with your friends, you said.
For example, for this year, because as an academic, you are given the target by university as well. For example, you have to achieve 5 papers need to publish, and then you work hard for that. But at the same time, do not forget other things. To me, with my student, I need to more than just as students. We go somewhere. We take lunch together. This is just what non-formal activities. Yeah? But in the end, it will affect your target in the academic target. So this is what my because if you do not motivate the student will give a good result for you, and then after that you write a paper together, so indirectly to achieve your target. So this is what I think. But of course, yeah, a life is not only for academic for me. Yeah, life is more than that. So I do everything here that I like. Yeah, I do traveling. I do, yeah, do sports, and I watch what performance, a drama or theater or whatsoever. So this is what I do. These people maybe do not may not do this, but I like to do things. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a very important point for me, because
Yeah.
when we come up with this show, we don't want people to have the idea that we are very
Yeah.
focused on just producing,
Yeah.
for example, high achievers.
Yeah.
Because the award is very inspiring to all of us.
Yeah.
But I also learned from this conversation that in order for us to succeed at
Yeah.
anything, it's very important to recognize that we are also human. So having this balance in our
Yes,
work
it's true.
as well
Yeah.
as relationships.
Yeah. So everyone got the right in you. But my family,
Yes.
then right, my children, I still got the small children, and then I need to spend more time with them, and then I accompany them study at home in the evening, etc. So this is life, and then we
Yes.
go to the mosque together.
True.
So this is thing how to you balance your life. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So remember to call your parents tonight, because I know we've been busy with exams. So yeah,
So all the
appreciate our
best.
parents and our roommates, everyone.
Yeah.
So Professor Irwandi,
Yeah.
everyone who we have called here,
Yeah.
we would ask one question. There's one
Yes.
question we would ask everyone. So it's like the trademark of the show.
Yeah.
What do you think are the 3 books which everyone should be reading? I know there are many books, but
Yeah.
maybe the top 3.
Okay, the top 3, yeah.
Yeah.
Number 1 is I still recall. Maybe you can search later on the title correctly, yeah, in the internet. Number 1 is The Sacred Life of Mind. Sacred Life of Minds, how our brains thinks, feels, and decide. This is very interesting because it is written by a neuroscientist, and then it show you the mechanism how a decision is made, and then how you judge phenomena, in the environment. So this is a combination of a science and behavioral science or communication, etc. So your social environment. I like the book. You
Sacred
may
Life of
find
Mind.
it. Yeah. The second one, I think everyone read the book. Yeah, La Tahzan. Yeah. It was written in Arabic originally, but I read the Indonesian version, Bahasa Indonesia. It is to me it is a motivational book. It motivate you that apart from all the struggles, you still got Allah. Yeah.
Yes.
What have gone to the past is let it go, and then you have a new challenge.
True.
And then inshallah, yeah, Allah will always there for you.
Yeah.
The third one, I think I'm still reading, not finishing yet. I just received I think a couple of days ago. I received a book, Societal Dimension of Environmental Sciences, a global case studies of collaboration and transformation. It is probably more an academic, but it is a compilation of various topics that the world facing now. We have now food security issue, environment issue, energy shortage, etc. And then this is the book is written by many authors and edited by Professor Ricardo Lopez.
Oh, articles.
The more, yeah,
combined together.
combined in one book. More interestingly is that I'm one of the contributors.
Okay.
One of the
Societal-
contributors in the chapter 5, you see, I wrote on the halal food security, forensic and laboratory management. What make me amazed with the book is that the book is published in US, and they are now talking about the halal, meaning the halal industry is not something some people are reluctant to say about halal. This is a Muslim related issues, but no. In the food security, when I wrote about halal food security, I proposed the title and they agreed, and they included in the chapter 5. So if you got a chance to have to read the book, so please do so.
Yes.
I just published last month, I think.
I see. May I repeat the
Yes,
title, please?
the title this
Yes.
one.
I would like
Yeah.
to read back. So the book Societal Dimensions of Environmental Science.
Yeah.
Global case studies.
Yes, global
Yeah.
case
So we
study.
have our very professor whose article is being included in this one, alongside the books you've recommended,
Yeah.
which is La Tahzan as well as The Sacred Life of Mind. Neuroscience, I'm very interested in neuroscience because, when we talk about, long story short, it's very fascinating
Yeah.
to learn about that new field.
Yeah.
So we would like to thank you very
Yeah,
much
yeah.
for spending your time here. It means the world to the team of IIUM Brilliance, as well as your insights which would inspire the students to come. So please join us in the future, and as well as share this video with your friends. Do follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, where we will share more about this. And we would like to thank you once again.
Yeah, thanks.
And
Yeah.
inshallah, we will see you in the next episode. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.